Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tips and Trades, brought to you by Centimeter Perfect. That is Jesse. I am Liam, and yes, I am croaky. I have the COVID, but stick with me. I'll get through this.
Are you croaky or are you Liam? You said two different names. Do we need to do a retake?
No, we don't need to do a retake, Jesse. Maybe we do. Croaky's not my name. Croaky's my feeling in general.
Well, you said I'm croaky, so I don't really understand why you would say that if your name's Liam.
Oh, you're a silly boy, Jesse. You're a silly boy. At @CMPerfect_AFL on Instagram, Apple, Amazon, and Spotify for our mate podcast, and of course YouTube, where you are joining us right now. Jesse, you can't be throwing like things like that at me now because I'll think you're being serious. I can't. I can't at the moment. I can't. I'm struggling. I
can tell.
Oh my God, it does kick the old tail from time to time. Does the old COVID? I tell you.
Have you gotten sick of losing fantasy, Liam? Because you lost again. Is that what you're sick with? Thanks.
It's a plague. Jesse, it's a plague in my fantasy. No, I'm not too upset by that, Jesse, because as I said coming into the season, I'm horrible at fantasy football.
But my household is getting very animated about fantasy this year. We're very into it this year. We're loving it.
Well, it is a punishment round last week, and obviously we'll get to that at the end of the program, and see who gives who a punishment. Spoilers. I get the punishment this week because I don't win this much ever. I think I beat you. I think I beat you once before, maybe twice.
And it was a punishment round.
And it was
you have to get your one win against me in a punishment round, and then you gave me a non-punishment.
Yeah, which means you're going to absolutely cook me. I can just tell.
Yes.
But anyway, Jesse, we're going to start with our tips as we always do. So instead of doing the tips, you get one right, you get 1 point. We do confidence points. Jesse, what are they?
Confidence points are our assigned weighting to our tips each week to add a bit of extra spice into the tipping competition. So there are 9 games this week, which means our 3 competitors, Liam, myself, and Vin, the AI robot, will assign points across the board. 9 points for the team that we're most confident in winning, 1 point to the team that we are least confident in winning. Can't repeat our points. Whoever has the most points at the end of the season will be declared the winner. You don't need the most amount of tips, just the most amount of points.
So let's go on to our scores without any further ado. Jesse, here we go. So 43 points to you and me last week. You dropped Hawthorn, I dropped Port, both with the 2 confidence points. So it means I'm still ahead by 1. A bit of a mare for Vin, as is normally the case. 34 for him. He lost some big confidence points games last week. Unfortunately, he's now 40 behind me, 39 behind you. Look, we'll keep him around. We won't mercy rule him just yet, shall we?
43 is a good score from both of us. I think I'll take that.
We dropped 1 each.
Yeah.
We dropped 1 each, which is pretty, 1 game, I should say, which is very good. But this is why confidence points are so important, Jesse, because if you're really confident in a team winning and they lose, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Looking ahead to this week, I thought this was
hard round.
Hard round, Jesse.
Hard round. Hard round above 4 for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree. So it'll be interesting to see how we stack up and how Vin goes with us as well. But we'll start from Thursday night, Jesse, as we always do. Here we go.
Another very exciting Thursday night clash awaits us here. Brisbane hosting the Cats at the Gabba. The Lions were able to get the job done on the weekend in very testing but yet successful conditions for them against Carlton, while Geelong looked dominant against the Magpies of the MCG.
Now, not to forget, this is the round 1 of the Sir Doug Nicholls tandem rounds, which is very nice. You can see I've got some nice new graphics up for that, which is good.
You do.
Vin is going first, as always. He's gone Brisbane over Geelong with 6 confidence points. Very strong on Brisbane, I know. He said it's a good matchup, but the Gabba tips it. Brisbane home ground edge remains huge, and Geelong capable, but less trustworthy interstate. That's what Vin has to say about it. Jesse, what say you?
Yeah, I'm Geelong with 1. This is a real coin toss for me, and I won't be mad if I lose this tip because it really does have the sense of both teams have that big fight quality, and which whoever turns up is probably just going to get the job done on the day. I think the Cats are going slightly better than the Lions on balance. In saying that, though, Brisbane, like Vin has alluded to, are very good at home. They played the ground very well. And also, I think they really kind of rested themselves for the second half of that game against Carlton. So they'll come in off the 6-day break, which isn't ideal. But Geelong having a 5-day break, we've had to work a bit harder. That might just tip the scale in favour of the Lions. But I'm sticking with the Cats. I think they've got enough quality to get the job done. And I think they'd like to send a statement, given they were disappointing against the Suns when they travelled earlier this season. So they'd like to square the ledger in Queensland to 1 apiece.
Yeah, I've gone the Geelong with 2, so a little bit more confident than you. I mean, not much though. For what you basically said, but I think what you said there that was probably the most true is basically whoever shows up on this night is going to get the job done. If we can get a game where both these teams show up, it's going to be an absolute cracker of a game, and that's what we can all hope for as fans of the AFL. But yeah, like you said, I think Geelong are just going a slight bit better than the Brisbane. But look, that's why the confidence is so low. I've got no idea. Let's move on, Jesse, to the next one.
Sydney taking on Collingwood at the SCG. The Swans have been all guns blazing this season, while the Pies were disappointed with a thumping at the hands of the Cats. Very big game here, I think, for both teams for different reasons. How's Vin tipping this one?
Very confidently for the Sydney Swans. He's gone with 8 points for Sydney. Sydney have been the most reliable side in the comp week to week. Excuse me, Freya would like a word. And Collingwood still look patchy offensively and have injury concerns around key experienced players. SCG advantage matters here. He's starting to pick up on the old injuries. His old Vin. He's doing very well.
He loves his home. He's like you with the home grounds in that ridiculous algorithm you did for the fixtures at the start of the year. Did you feed that through him? Is that where you got it from?
No, I wish I could blame AI for that, but no, that was out of this whole noggin right here. It was very dumb, Jesse, and we didn't want to speak about that ever again. I'm so glad you brought it up. Jesse, what have you got for this game?
Subscribe. Liam might even put it in the description if you want to go make fun of him later. I'm Collingwood with 3. Sorry, I'm not Collingwood with 3. I'm Sydney with 3. This is your fault, Liam. Sydney with 3. Look, I'm not willing to go all in yet on the Swans, and I think if anyone's going to play the SCG perfectly against them, it will be Collingwood. So I'm not willing to really go for too big of a swing here with the Swans. In saying that, they're clearly getting better form. They're going well. They've got offensive power that the Pies probably don't have. Just keeping that slight reservation though over them.
I've gone City with 7. I think the way my points have kind of lined up this week, I needed to go hard on somebody, and I think the Swans are in a prime position to get this job done here against Collingwood. Obviously their form states they've done okay the last little bit, the old Magpies, but I don't know. I think the Swans are the team to beat at the moment, one of the 2, one of the 4. There's plenty of them. But I think the Swans are going to be too good for the Pies in this one, Jesse. Let's move on to the next game.
Gold Coast hosting Yartapulti, the formerly Port Adelaide, at the TO Stadium in Darwin on Friday night. Gold Coast continued their successful mortgage over the top end with their win over St Kilda, while the Power have been so close yet so far in recent weeks, and we're looking to improve that record from a dreary 3 wins and 6 losses.
Vin has gone Gold Coast with 5. Gold Coast are no longer a novelty tip, which is great for Vin to think so. Their midfield has been consistently strong. Port remain volatile from week to week. Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, much like you had to go hard on someone in the previous game, Liam, this is my rendition of that. Suns with 8, it's a strong tip. It's a real show of confidence in the Suns because they've been excellent in Darwin for many years now. I think they were really quality after a disappointing first quarter against the Saints last week. I just come back to that 12 goals to 3 that I don't think they would have been able to do a fortnight ago. We know that they have, elite depth throughout most of their lines. I wonder if we're going to see Jared Witts come back to try and really hurt Jordan Sweet in this game. That seems to me like a real option to break Yartapulti. If they do that, I really can't see a way back into it for the Power. I think they're going to struggle. So Suns with 8 for me. Yeah, I can see it as a little bit higher. I originally had them around a kind of a 5 or a 6, but just the way things have shaken, I need to be confident somewhere.
Oh, Gold Coast with 6, like you were saying. It's in Darwin, Jesse. They don't lose in Darwin, obviously. So I should have gone full 9, but I didn't. Because I think you're right.
We did that last year, didn't we? So they're not losing this game.
They're not losing there. They're not losing there at all. But no, I think the Suns are. I think they're starting to get a little bit upward trajectory, but I'm still a bit iffy on them. And the Power again, as we mentioned in our main podcast, I think that they're quite close to unlocking something. This could be the game that unlocks it, but I think the Suns are going to be too good for them in Darwin. Jesse, next game.
Kawana hosting North Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval. Big game upcoming for the Crows here. They got the job done over the Tigers, but did not look convinced in doing it, while North Melbourne, despite a 1-4 in their last 5 games, have continued to show excellent form, almost knocking off Sydney last week.
Vin has gone Adelaide with 4 confidence points. North have improved a lot this season, but Adelaide at home is still a difficult assignment. Crows likely too polished around stoppage and forward connection. These analysis things from Vin are getting better.
That's good.
They're getting
He's still
slightly
40
better,
points behind.
He is still 40 points behind. Jesse, what do you got?
I think you're doing the same thing as me here.
Okay.
I'm North with 2. I'm troubled by what we've seen from Kawana in recent weeks, and I think North are getting him at the right time. Now, I concede this is no sure thing. Kawana are clearly favourites. It will not be a shock if they do win. But this really profiles as an opportunity for North to get a scalp here. And I think they're going to throw a fair bit into this. They'll benefit from that. Kawana on the 6-day break, North off the 7-day break. Team selection will be interesting here. If Fogarty's back in the team or Tex is back in the team, that probably does change things slightly. But if Adelaide still don't have their full offensive capabilities at their disposal, can see North getting the job done.
Adelaide with 5, Jesse. I think that... Yeah.
Oh, you're doing something weird later then. You're doing something very unusual. Okay.
Well, is it unusual, Jesse? We'll find out. Adelaide with 5. I think they'll still be too good for the Kangas. I do enjoy what the Kangas are doing, absolutely. But I think that the Adelaide Crows just need to start proving to themselves that this is the team that's going to be, be able to contend this year. And if they can't get over the Kangas in this game, then I don't know. I reckon we can start to struck a line through them for anything serious this year. So I think that alone will carry them across, Jesse, especially at home. That's my thoughts on that. Let's go, Jesse, to the next game.
If your one's not in this game, something very interesting is going to happen. It's Nam hosting Hawthorn at the MCG. The Demons got the job done over the Eagles, while the Hawks lost just their second game of the season at Optus Stadium on Thursday night at the hands of Fremantle. This will be interesting from Vin. Keen to hear what he's got to say.
Well, Vin is very confident on the Hawks with 7 confidence points there. He said this is a big form-based play. Melbourne are competitive, but the Hawks' transition game has been elite recently, and Hawthorn are 6-2-1, playing with enormous confidence. Jesse.
Hey, that's the name of the points. Hawthorn with 4. I do expect him to get the job done here. Wary of Melbourne, as I think you have to be this season, but I do think there's a difference between the best and the worst of the Demons, and Hawthorn really can be a team that just grind you down with their quality. They can sucker punch you and then bleed you out, which is what I think they tried to do against Fremantle. If they can do similar against a team, maybe just that little bit less quality that the Demons have, they should be able to get the 4 points.
Melbourne with 2, Jesse.
Haven't already used your 2?
Melbourne with... I must be 1 then. There we go. I had 2 on Geelong. Good pickup, Jesse. Well done.
Thank you.
Melbourne with 1. I'm happy to put a small amount of confidence points on this upset. I think with the Hawks' current injury issues, and it's going to take a Demons, playing their heart out. But they've shown they can do that this year. They can obviously do the complete opposite of that as well. But I think for a cheeky 1-pointer, I think that's a pretty good shout for a upset. Jesse, let's go to the next one.
Do you still have the clip of me lambasting the Saturday night game from a fortnight ago and saying, no, thank you, don't put this anywhere near me? No, it was St Kilda Carlton.
Yes.
Can you just replay that and then we can all go home? Carlton versus Dogs on Saturday Night Football in 2026. No shade on the Dogs. They're a good team. Should Carlton be in another Saturday night game, having been in a Friday night game last week and a Saturday night game the week before, while being 1-8 in the season 2026 and playing some terrible football? That's up for debate. Anyway, what's Vin's tip? I really don't want to talk about this game anymore.
Vin's gone full confidence on the Dogs. 9 points on the Doggies. This is another cleanest matchup of the round for me. Carlton are 1-8 and still missing key contributors like Harry Mackay. No, they're not. Bulldogs have stabilised after their injury hit stretch and should dominate midfield territory. Jesse.
They should. Dogs with 7. I'm just conscious of some injury reservations. But, I know Carlton were better last week, but I would really need to see it before I believe it.
Yeah, Bulldogs with 8 for me. I think, again, Carlton have shown me nothing that makes me think they're going to win any game for the rest of this season, to be honest with you. Maybe when they play like the Eagles or Richmond or whatever. But even then, who knows? I think the Bulldogs, regardless of their injury crisis, are still going to be too good for the Blues. Jesse, let's go on to the next one.
Essendon hosting Waylup at the MCG. The Bombers looked better against a disappointing and spluttering Giant side so far, while Waylup claimed arguably the biggest scalp of anyone this season by defeating Hawthorn at Optus Stadium on Thursday night. So they come in with a nice rest coming into this, a 9-day break. Actually, that's a 10-day break. Oh,
What are they going to do
annual
with
leave,
themselves?
never heard of it. What's Vin got here for this big game on Sunday morning?
Surprisingly low for Vin, who's usually a massive fan of the Dockers, but he's only gone Freo with 3. Probably knows better than us, to be honest. Freo are clearly the better side, but in-state travel and occasional scoring inconsistency, we do love a good behind. It keeps us lower than otherwise would be. Essendon injury list is still ugly structurally. Jesse.
Whale up with 9. Justin, don't you dare.
Yeah, sentiment echoed. Whale up with 9. Yeah, I mean, it would be very Freo.
Oh, yeah. I've already had multiple comments of, yeah, you'll beat Hawthorn, then watch you lose to Essendon. And you know what? We probably will. Fair. And that's just part of the course. So I look forward to an hour. If we do lose this game, we will do an hour special on Fremantle next week.
Okay, fair enough.
As an extra, because we didn't do a deep dive this week, so we'll do an hour special on Fremantle and why I hate them. How does that sound? So subscribe for that. Bailey Banford. No, we're not doing it now. No. Should we do the next game, Liam?
Let's do that, Jesse. Let's move on. Here we go. Sunday.
Euroke hosting Richmond at Marvel Stadium on Sunday. Gee, pick the crowd over here. Maybe 11 people, not 1,000. The Saints couldn't get the job done, having been in an ultimate position to do so against the Suns in Darwin. You could really say the same for Richmond at the G against the Crows. So both teams looking to win for very different reasons. Richmond get a bit of pep in their step. Euroke to find their big boy pants and make a wildcard push.
Very good. Vin has gone St Kilda with just the 2. Saints should win, but they're still hard to trust fully. Fair. Richmond remain undermanned, but have shown occasional fight. Both those things are true. Only 2 points for Vin. Jesse.
Euroke shouldn't be losing this. I've gone with them with 5, but I think that's kind of an indictment of my concerns around them, is that they've not been very good. And, to Richmond's credit, they're in it for the first half, 3/4 of a game. I think that Uze and Co can look at this and say, this is a gettable game. Much like North with Adelaide, maybe to a lesser degree, but they can look at this and say, this is a gettable game.
Yeah, I've gotten the Saints with 4, so even less. And I think that says something that we had struggled so hard at the top end of our points this week. But then the bottom end, it's like some of these teams should be shoo-ins, right? Saints, shoo-ins. Next game, shoo-ins. But no, confidence points will be low. But the Saints should be too good for the Tigers, you would think. But it'd be very funny if they aren't. Let's go to the last game, Jesse. Here we go.
Wallace Marrowa hosting Greater Western Sydney at Optus Stadium. Wallace Marrowa better against the Demons last week, while the Giants got the job done just over Essendon, who were in a similar cellar-dweller position to their opponents this week.
Eagles don't mind Giants, do they? That said, Vin has gone GWS just with the 1. GWS are better, but Optus Stadium trips can get weird.
Let's get weird, Vin.
Let's get weird, Vin. And the Giants haven't been consistent enough to warrant higher confidence. So GWS with 1 for Vin. Jesse, what you got?
Yeah, I'm Giants with 6, but in no way would it surprise me, because I'm so unenthused by this football club at the moment. They are producing remarkably average football. All I really care about in this game is Lockie Whitfield, and can he get 8 million fantasy points? I think he could. Please and thank you, Lockie.
Giants with 3 for me, because, aforementioned worry about whether or not they can actually do it is not the question. Whether or not they actually shit the bed entirely and lose this game, which would be very, very funny. All right, Jesse, that's the tips done. We have come now to look at his smirking. He knows what's coming up now. He knows that it's about to be fantasy punishment time for me. So we'll jump straight into it, Jesse. No mucking around. Here were our scores from last week. I had an absolute stinker. 1727 for me, taking me to 15,804 total. Second lowest in the entire competition. Thank you very much. And then you are on 1934, taking you to 16,644. I
didn't have a great week.
No, but look, could be worse. Could be worse. Look, I just had too many of my biggest stars just have really terrible games. Didn't help that Grundy, as my captain, had an absolute stinker as well. And you, Captain Luke Jackson, did you not?
I did. If you didn't have Bont, it was a long week, and neither of us did. So that really was the determining factor.
Not even close to being the top fantasy point getter this week. We'll get to those in just a second. Here were our head-to-head matchups here, Jesse. I went down to the top-ranked Dons FC quite handily in the end. That is the epitome of about 10-goal smashing. And then you got over Semibil United.
Can I just jump in and say I'm so sorry to my opponent this week because they had me on toast go into the last game, and then Grill was a laid out, and Brown, who they traded in to cover Sarong, got 3 points and then broke his arm. So they absolutely had me. So all I needed to do was just watch Murray gradually get 1 fantasy point for a hit out, and just because we both had Worrell, we both had McAndrew, so I wasn't getting anywhere there. Yeah. So it was just Murray was the deciding factor. So in no way did I deserve that. It was a very jammy win. If Semville United is a watcher of the podcast, I'm so sorry. But you know what? A win's a win. Call me Greater Western Sydney. A win's a win.
And yes, that's supposed to say round 9. I'm not going back to change it because I'm not feeling well. Leave me alone. All right, let's go on to we'll get to the punishment at the end, Jesse.
Okay.
I think we'll save that to the end because it's quite fun. Here's our ladder at the moment. Dons FC remaining on top after taking on some really easy competition in this guy this week. Jesse, look at that.
Top half.
You're in there. Look at that, 10th spot. He's moving up. And
look at that form line as well. 3 on the bounce.
Oh, thank you very much. The complete antithesis of that, Jesse, is where I'm currently sitting. Loss. Look, it's fine. It's fine because I know that my fantasy game is not very strong, especially when it comes to AFL. And what more could I possibly need or want, Jesse, than a punishment to make it even harder for me to do anything with it? We'll come to that in a second. I'll save that to the very end. Let's go through some top 20s for this week. Isaac Rankin, just a cheeky 162 points this week. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And the bloke's only about 800k as well, or it was going into the round. So that is, if you had Rankin, you probably didn't have him as a primo. You've done very well for yourself. So well done you if you've had him.
Archie Roberts continues to be an absolute machine when it comes to fantasy points. The Bond's up there as well. It's just so annoying because what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 players in that top.
Can I give you my wins this week because it's reminded me this week. So I traded out Caleb Daniel, he had about 104. He had a good week. Traded out Daniel with some of my spare cash to get Whitfield because I was like, okay, Whitfield's has got Essendon and Eagles in back-to-back weeks. He's going to absolutely feast on these guys. Then Thursday night, the training footage comes out of him icing his Achilles. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this. I don't like that. That screen's laid out. So I traded for Zorko, who got 76.
Whitfield?
125. Thanks, Dane. But I'm pleased to announce that this week, both of them are in my team because I had enough money to do a primo upgrade. So now my defense doesn't have Roberts, but it's a pretty good back six. I'm happy with my back six now.
Well, I'm glad, Jesse, that you are doing so well when it comes to your fantasy. I continue to lament, who I choose every single week.
You had Flanders. So. Flanders was good for you this week. He really hit his straps.
Yeah. I had Langdon as well. Like I had some really good players in there, just like the top of the pops. My big players just didn't come to the party. But that's okay, Jesse. We've come to that part now. Let's turn all these off. Let's stop all the shares. Let's stop all this. Let's stop sharing. Just me and you now here, Jesse, and you're going to now tell me what my punishment is for losing round 9. And I'm not too sure if this has just worked out nicely, but we do have every 5 rounds. So round 14, round 19 are our next 2 punishment rounds, and 19 is when we play each other. So that's very handy.
That is good.
Would be better, I think, come round 19, it's going to have to be a forfeit that doesn't fall within the realms of fantasy because who cares at that point?
Yeah. Or a handicap for next season. Or a handicap. Yeah, well, I might be in the finals.
Yeah,
so
you might.
Well, if I beat you, I might handicap you at the start of next year, sorry.
Fair
Just
enough. All right,
destroy
Jesse,
your season. Now, Liam, I'm a big, as you know, I'm a big fan of Facebook, Liam. I love Facebook.
Okay.
Love getting on there. Going on all the the community pages, seeing why there's a helicopter buzzing around me, all that type of stuff. And I've been noticing a lot.
Old man.
I've been noticing a lot of AI content on Facebook. It's got me really excited. I love my AI generated content. That Nick Dacos is building a homeless shelter. James Sicily's donating to a puppy farm. You see all these lovely contents, and I saw something really interesting on one of the Essendon pages, Liam, on the Bombers page. Big exciting news. That just before the bye, Nick Martin has had a revolutionary surgery that has fixed his ACL, and he might just be back to face the Dockers this week. So, Liam, I think you should get a head start on the rest of the competition, and this week you are required to have Nick Martin traded into your fantasy team.
I don't know if I can actually physically do that, Jesse, because he still goes for
you might have to.
I think he goes for like a mil, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. So I think you should get a head start at everyone else and believe this AI content and get Nick Martin into your team.
So basically, just give me a zero.
Yes.
You're making me spend a mil for a zero. That's fucking...
The most expensive zero I could find.
I thought better of you, Jesse. I thought you might come up with something creative, but that's fine.
I think that's pretty creative. I think it had a backstory. You had a backstory. That's pretty creative. Let us know your thoughts on the punishment in the comments. Am I just really mean, or is that good for me? I think it's good for me. Let us know. Let us know who you're trading in this week. I am trading in Whitfield and Roby. I'm giving Farrow the flick, and I'm getting rid of Kitty Coleman, who's done a great job, but I need those primo players at this time of year. So see you, Kitty. Like, share, subscribe. Let us know your tips as well. I'm Jesse. That's Liam. He's got Nick Martin in his team. We'll see you next time on the Sentiment of Perfect AFL podcast.
Bye, everybody.